A breaking story out of Canada in just the past few hours. There has been a mass shooting near Toronto. At least 12 people have been injured. So let's get the very latest from my colleague Nikki Schiller, who joins us from the newsroom. Nikki, just bring us up to date with what we know.
Yes, Kasia. So we know that this incident happened at around 20 to 11 on Friday night local time in Scarborough city centre, which is an eastern part of Toronto. Now, police were called to the area to these reports of gunfire. Now, local media are reporting that the pub was actually opening. It was a grand opening of the pub, and that 3 male suspects entered and opened fire indiscriminately. Now, the police are telling us that 12 people have been injured. They have been taken to hospital. 6 of those have gunshot wounds. The good news is that the authorities are saying that none of them are in a life-threatening condition. Now, in terms of the victims, they age from their 20s through to their mid-50s. Now, I mentioned that police think that there are 3 male suspects that opened fire in this pub. They are on the loose at the moment, and there is, as you can imagine, a big operation to try and track them down. Now, earlier, police said that one of the suspects had a black balaclava on and had fled the scene in a silver car, but later they did say that there were 3 suspects. Now, as you can imagine, there is a huge police operation not only to try and track down those 3 suspects, but also to offer support and aid around the pub. Now, the local mayor has posted on social media. She is Mayor Olivia Chow, and she posted, "I am deeply troubled to hear reports of a shooting at a pub in Scarborough. I have spoken to the Toronto police chief, and he has assured me all necessary resources have been deployed. This is an early and ongoing investigation." She goes on to say that police will provide further details. "My thoughts are with the victims and their families." And Kasia, what police will be trying to work out is what the motive was for this shooting. But as I say, at the moment, 3 suspects are on the loose and are being hunted, 3 male suspects, and 12 people are in hospital, but they are not in a life-threatening condition.
Tonight, what is sure to be a controversial move for the Centers for Disease Control. The agency will initiate expanded research into understanding autism and the potential links between vaccines and autism, according to a source familiar with the planning. The myth that autism is caused by childhood vaccines has been repeatedly debunked by hundreds of studies.
What is the medical consensus on vaccines and autism?
The scientific evidence is clear. There is no link between vaccines and autism, and this has been proven not just in studies in the United States, but validated and reproven across the world.
Still, President Trump foreshadowed the CDC news at this week's joint address to Congress.
Not long ago, and you can't even believe these numbers, 1 in 10,000 children had autism, 1 in 10,000, and now it's 1 in 36. There's something wrong.
The president saying he tasked Health and Human Services Secretary Robert F. Kennedy Jr. with finding out why. Kennedy, the founder of a prominent anti-vaccine activist group, has spread false claims linking autism and vaccines. Though at his recent confirmation hearing, Kennedy defended his views.
News reports have claimed that I'm anti-vaccine or anti-industry. I am neither. I am pro-safety.
And this week, amid a growing measles outbreak in Texas and New Mexico, health officials reported an unvaccinated adult tested positive for measles after dying.
How concerned are you that the CDC study could spread vaccine skepticism and maybe even harm the public?
I think it already has because of the concern. Well, if the government is studying it, then all those scientists and doctors who told me there was no link must have been lying. And that's how the misinformation starts.
Tonight, the Trump administration not responding to questions about how the study will be conducted, when results are expected, or how much money will be spent. But for all health department employees, a new detailed offer: resign by 5 p.m. Friday, March 14th, and walk away with a $25,000 lump sum payment, according to a person who received the email and an administration official.
Yamiche is traveling with the president in Florida tonight. And Yamiche, we should note President Trump's nominee for CDC director has his confirmation hearing next week.
That's right. His name is Dave Weldon. He's a physician and former congressman from here in Florida. And he, too, has spread false claims linking autism and vaccines, claims there's sure to be a focus at his hearing on Thursday. Jose?
Here in Cabaret, Mpox patients are being provided medicine as the area grapples with an outbreak of the disease. Despite the challenges posed by the war in eastern Congo, medical staff continue their crucial work, helping patients get better. We suffer because of the war. The medicine isn't always available. Now I feel better because I have some medicine. The care I've received has helped, but the care needs to be improved. When the war started, I was in good health, but then my health problems started with malaria, and after malaria, I had symptoms of Mpox 3 days ago. Mpox primarily spreads through close skin-to-skin contact and often leaves visible skin lesions. When I arrived at the health centre with my daughter, her temperature was 39.5 degrees Celsius and she was given tablets. When the nurses injected the medicine, my daughter fainted. I praised the Lord because she wasn't like that before. Patients continue to arrive, so we continue to report. But the health zone, which used to have 4 treatment centres now, because of the war, has only 2 Mpox treatment centres in Luiru, and the referral general hospital is in Miti. The DRC has carried the brunt of the Mpox epidemic. In response, a large-scale vaccination campaign began last Thursday in Kinshasa with the target of vaccinating over 600,000 people.
Yes, just really strapping everything down to keep everything intact and everything like that. But other than that, it hasn't been as bad as I thought it would be. So we haven't really encountered anything too strong. So until it picks up, maybe we'll see something else more horrific.
I think Alfred is a really good time to go flying. I reckon I just built this plane and yeah, well, there's a little bit of wind coming in and it seems to be about perfect to be able to go up on the slope and just soar around, so it's pretty cool.
Yes, just really strapping everything down to keep everything intact and everything like that. But other than that, it hasn't been as bad as I thought it would be. So we haven't really encountered anything too strong. So until it picks up, maybe we'll see something else more horrific.
I think Alfred is a really good time to go flying. I reckon I just built this plane and yeah, well, there's a little bit of wind coming in and it seems to be about perfect to be able to go up on the slope and just soar around, so it's pretty cool.
If you want to go up against amnesty, if you want to go up against international law, if you want to go up against Israeli humanitarian and deny this genocide, then you do that within genocide, sir.
What strikes me is that this is an incredibly brazen act of violence. Being inside there, I cannot imagine how chaotic that was for the people inside. These are the kind of events that not only shake our city, but the people who are here, I'd expect will be dealing with this for a long, long time. So, I really want to start by acknowledging those who are injured, and we do wish them all a speedy recovery. I think this is one of those moments in our city where we got to step back and reflect that we need these kind of brazen acts of violence to stop. We're going to do everything we can to restore a sense of safety and security. You're going to see us around a lot. We will go where the evidence leads us, and we will leave no stone unturned to ensure that we do everything we can to bring those responsible to justice. Thanks, everybody.
저는 어제 그 구속의 인용이 취소가 된 것이 결국에는 내란이나 아니면은 쿠데타의 실체가 완전히 사라졌다, 완전히 없다라는 것이 드러나는 사건이라고 생각을 하고 있고요. 이것이 저는 헌법재판소 판결에도 매우 영향을 끼칠 거라고 생각을 합니다. 왜냐하면 이러한 판결은 결국에는 지금 윤석열 대통령을 체포했고 구속했던 이 모든 절차와 이유가 다 무효라는 것이라고 저는 생각하기 때문에 그러한 이유로 헌법재판소에서 지금 탄핵을 진행하고 있는데 이러한 이유가 사라진다면 당연히 각하되어야 할 문제라고 생각을 합니다.
우리가 기대할 수 있는
국민에게 총을 겨누었던 윤석열 탄핵 인용이 꼭 돼야 된다고 생각합니다. 근데 어저께 검찰에서 나온 결과가 너무 아쉽고 정의는 다시 살아 있어가지고 꼭 다시 구속되기를 원합니다. 두 번째로는 탄핵이 인용되면은 탄핵 자체가 중요한 게 아니라 앞으로 대한민국을 지금 나와 있는 여기 국민들과 여기 시민 여러분과 함께 만들어야 합니다.
Now to the U.S.-Mexico border, where travelers are experiencing some changes during spring break travel. If you're heading south of the border for your vacation, you'll need more than just your passport. Mexico is now requiring U.S. citizens to fill out an immigration form before they can cross. And it's created incredibly long lines at the port of entry. 12 News journalist Chase Golightly spoke with one of those travelers. And Chase, they had no idea that this was happening.
Caribe, this process is not new, but Mexican immigration authorities are now strictly enforcing it, leaving people waiting hours to get into Mexico and having to pay. Like countless Arizonans, Jim McCauley and his wife, who live in Scottsdale, were heading into Mexico for a day trip.
We were going to visit the pharmacy, have a lunch, and then be on our way. It's something we've done many, many times before.
They usually go in on foot and say the process is easy.
Normally, walking into Mexico is just like walking into a Walmart.
But on Thursday, when they got to the point of entry in Yuma, that wasn't the case.
The line was very, very long. Most of the people in line didn't know what was going on. The only progress that we made in that line were people that were leaving.
When they asked others how long they had been in line,
they were telling us it was a 3 to 4 hour wait.
Both finally decided to cancel their trip because of it.
It was frustrating because we didn't expect it, hadn't heard about it. For us, it's a 3.5 hour trip down there and back.
The reason for the long wait, U.S. citizens traveling into Mexico not only have to bring their passport, but now must obtain a travel visa, according to the Mexican consulate of Phoenix, a form most Americans don't know about because Mexico hasn't strictly enforced it until now.
That's what was taking so much time, as far as we could tell.
The consulate says it's to make tourists comply with the requirements and for safety. You can fill it out at the port of entry or online. To find it, go to the Mexican Consulate of Phoenix website, click on this link called Visa para Personas. From there, click the first link near the top. Hit this plus sign, agree to the conditions, then fill out the form, including where you're going in Mexico, what port of entry you're entering, and other personal information. You can then print out the form and bring it with you. However, the consulate says it will cost you about $30. For McCauley, he says until the process gets smoothed out, he isn't planning on going to Mexico anytime soon.
It's not worth the time or the effort now.
Now, the consulate says those with dual citizenship do not need to fill out this visa. You can also find a link to that form on our website, 12news.com.
Syria is facing one of its worst attacks since the ouster of President Bashar al-Assad. The Syrian regime's security forces stormed several villages near the country's coast, killing dozens of Assad loyalists. A Syrian war monitor has said that at least about 340 civilians from the Alawite minority have been killed in violent clashes, taking the toll to over 524. The new Syrian regime held a funeral in the Khastun village northwest of Hama for a fighter who was killed in clashes with the fighters loyal to former President Bashar al-Assad.
Today, my son became a martyr, another is imprisoned, and another lies wounded in the hospital. For 14 years, they have bombed us with barrel bombs, these criminals. We are not sectarian, we are the children of this country.
The Syrian media shared a footage showing convoy of security forces loyal to Syria's new administration entering the Mediterranean coastal city of Banias. The many even in fact gathered at the Latakia International Airport chanting that people wanted protection from Russia. Reports suggest that several hundred people sought refuge at the Russian-operated Khmeimim military base. Meanwhile, supporters of the new Syrian regime held rallies in Damascus and Aleppo. The protesters held up Syrian flags and cheered for the government and asked it to use an iron fist against anyone who wants to destabilize the country. Now, the village assaults erupted on Thursday and continued through Friday. The fighting began when the government forces tried to detain a wanted person near the coastal city of Jableh and were ambushed by Assad loyalists. The coastal region is the heartland of the Alawite minority and a stronghold of the Assad family, who also belong to the Alawite sect. Now, Damascus sent in reinforcements to the coastal cities of Latakia and Tartus and nearby villages that are home to Assad's minority Alawite sect and make up his long-time base of support. The new Syrian regime is facing its fiercest attacks yet by members of the Assad clan's Alawite minority, and Syria's de facto leader Ahmed al-Shara has called on Assad loyalists to lay down their arms before it is too late.
And those who transgress against unarmed civilians and punish people for the crimes of others will be held severely accountable. Our people on the coasts in the areas of conflict are part of our responsibility, and it is our duty to protect them and save them from the evils of the gangs of the fallen regime.
Experts are concerned that the deadly violence could in fact intensify the sectarian tensions in the war-torn nation. Any violation by the security forces sent from Damascus would leave young Alawite men more fearful of the new government, potentially leading to more men taking up arms against Ahmed al-Shara's disposition.
Depending on where you are on the planet, on the night of March 13th or March 14th, we are having a total lunar eclipse, which means that the sun, the earth, and the moon will be aligned. The moon will pass into the shadow of the earth and turn a deep red-orange color. It's only when it starts to enter the darkest part of the shadow that you really start to see what looks like these bites that are getting taken out of it. A total lunar eclipse is an extremely easy thing to watch. You don't need any aid to your eye. The most important thing that you need is an unobstructed view of the sky. This is still like a really beautiful and inspiring thing to go outside and look at.
naik nih. Tiba-tiba nih. Makin gede.
Banjir belum surut.
Galaxy depan SSB udah tinggi sekali. Gila, ini sampai segini guys kondisinya. Wow.